Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a full face of Chanel because I have new summer makeup here to try. I picked up these Les Beiges Healthy Glow Sun-Kissed powders. I have shade medium rose gold right here and medium coral. So we're going to test both of these out. I also picked up a few single shadows as well. If you follow Chanel Beauty closely, you know we typically see a big Les Beiges collection for summer, but it wasn't that long ago when they launched this Les Beiges Healthy Winter Glow collection. So I pulled out my primer. Even though these were limited edition, I still want to get use out of them. This is shade Light Copper, so it gives kind of a rose gold sheen to the skin. They're really beautiful beneath your foundation, but I would say it's still pretty comparable to the illuminating primer. I really like the gel texture of these primers, and the luminosity is pretty subtle. So it definitely gives you glow. It makes your skin look extra hydrated, but it's not too much, and they're not really greasy either. So it's really nice if you have sensitive skin, oily skin. This foundation is a Chanel icon, truly a staple in any Chanel Beauty makeup collection. And I've had it for such a long time. Kind of forget about it because I keep my Chanel makeup separate from the rest of my collection. As soon as I finish my current Hourglass foundation, that's the one I've been using pretty much every single day, I think this deserves a chance in the rotation. It's so good. It's actually a better option for an everyday foundation because it's so much lighter than the Hourglass. Doesn't give you as much coverage, but it's water-based, has a really natural finish. It evens out the complexion, but it does not look heavy or cakey at all. Vita Lumiere Aqua is more light, buildable to medium coverage. It's really not intended to ever be full. I always forget just how good it is, but also I find myself wanting to save it, not just because it's one of my favorites and I want to keep it in my collection, but because over the years, Chanel has continued to raise the price. I think every year they raise prices a few dollars. I remember when this foundation was maybe 40 bucks a bottle. It's getting up there now. It used to be one of the most affordable, less expensive Chanel foundations, but even this is pretty expensive now. For now, we're pressing pause on the face and we're going to move on to the eyes. I picked up 4 individual shadows. They're really beautiful. I don't think I can integrate all 4 into one look and have it be its very best. And this was the first eyeshadow that I fell in love with when I went to the boutique, so I think we have to use this one today. This is the Seafoam Green with gold shimmer. It's 222 Jade Facette. If you missed my haul, these single shadows come with 3 little brushes inside. They're teeny tiny, but I think they're actually really good quality. And this is the most stunning eyeshadow color. I don't think I have anything else like it in my collection. So beautiful. I already know the camera is not going to do it justice. I was tempted to start with a little bronzer in the crease. That's kind of my MO for eyeshadow looks. But instead, just so I can show you what this color by itself looks like, I'm just going to apply this to the lid. And I'm picking up just a flat shader brush. The texture is really soft and creamy, so the brush is picking up a lot of product. But if this doesn't work, you can also use your fingers for this one. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I knew I was going to love this. I'm not really a jewel-toned green eyeshadow person, but I was so drawn to this color. One of those when you know moments. So I'm taking this all the way up to the crease. I'm going to scoot in nice and close so you can see what this looks like. The shade of green is perfect. Because it's a light seafoam and it has that gold shimmer, it almost looks like it's going on sheer, but it's not. It's very opaque, but it's just light, so it's not really in your face. I think it's a really wearable green. I want to keep the look daytime appropriate, but I still want to kick it up a notch to my typical soft glam. I also think this shade would probably look really beautiful if you were to just tap it in the center of the lid on top of something dark. If you were doing a deeper smoky eye, maybe you were going in with a deeper green or maybe a deep blue or just something deep all over the lid and then used this as a contrast, that could look really beautiful. Like maybe pair this with a teal or something a little bit deeper. If you're really going full-blown mermaid, I think that would look really nice. But even on its own, I think it's gorgeous. This is a Pro Crease 24 brush from Sephora, and I'm picking up the bronzer. And I am going to just blend this in the crease a little bit, just to give us a little dimension. In hindsight, I probably should have started with this step because I'm going to have to go back and touch up the green, but that's okay. At least you got to see what the color looks like on its own. I really like how this bronzer looks as an eyeshadow. I think that's one of the cool things about palettes like this is that they're so convenient for travel and you can really use it for everything. I always like to integrate earth tones into my eyeshadow looks, but if you're somebody who's not as afraid as I am to play around with jewel tones, you could also use maybe a matte green eyeshadow. I don't even think I have a matte green. A deeper green I think would look really beautiful for some depth. But then what happens is the look just comes out very green. And that's probably what you intended, but I like to stick on the safe side, something that I know is going to be flattering for me. And since we're adding depth, we might as well see what this shade looks like. This is 240 Brune Fauve. This is one of the mattes. I basically always use an eyeshadow like this when I'm doing my makeup, so I'm not anticipating any surprises with this color, although I will say these eyeshadows are exceptional quality. These really are on par with Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath Labs, Dior, NARS, some of the artistry brands that are really big into eyeshadow. They are creamy, they are not dusty mattes, they're very easy to blend. No fallout on the cheek. As much as I love Chanel and I'm a huge fan of the brand, they're not exactly known for having the best eyeshadows. There's almost a split in the beauty community. You have a very light, fresh-faced, more French-style makeup look, which is what Chanel typically caters to. And then you have the hot, trendy American brands that are usually much brighter and bolder when it comes to eyeshadow. Most of the time, the people who love and follow those brands aren't huge fans of Chanel eyeshadow. I really think the new Comets collective, or the group of makeup artists who are now the visionaries behind Chanel Beauty, are going to push Chanel Beauty to limits that we have not seen before, and they're really going to bring the brand to 2024 standards. I wiped my brush, so I'm just continuing to blend that. I still think we will see the light French style baked eyeshadows, especially in the quads from Chanel. I don't see them completely abandoning what they're known for, but I do think we'll see new formulas, and these single eyeshadows are just the beginning. Now I'm going back with the green, and I'm just gonna touch up the lid, make sure we can really see that seafoam pop. And it blends in nicely with the brown. I was hesitant, but I think we're gonna do this. So I picked up a little, this is a BK Beauty 207, and just for fun, I am going into one of my other eyeshadows. This is 220 Blanc Pearl. It's another satin finish, stunning. The pan doesn't do it justice. It looks like it's just white, but it's actually iridescent pink. So I'm just picking up this little precision brush, and I'm just gonna pop that right on the inside of the eye, the inner corner area. You can barely see it. It's just meant to be a little something something. But I like how the iridescence plays into the green, and you can see just a slight pop of pink there. I think people would have been upset and called me boring if I just stuck with one eyeshadow all over the lid, so we have to experiment a little bit. This is a really pretty color. Now this, I think, would look gorgeous on the lid as well. It always looks a bit nuts when you do the top eyeshadow first before you do anything else on the face, but I like to wait to do my concealer. That way we can clean up this edge down here. If there is any fallout, you can clean it up. So this is just the order of operations that works best for me. So now we're going in with concealer, and I pulled out my Chanel concealers. It's been a while since I've used these. And this is actually the Rose Corrector. It's slightly pink, but I really like how brightening it is. So I'm actually gonna do a couple dots of this. And then I'm going to mix the concealer in. This is shade B10. And it's nice and light, but I do wish they had a shade lighter than this. They might actually have a shade lighter now. I think they have maybe an 010. See, this has more of a neutral undertone, but I think when I mix it with the rose, it will be perfect. I don't remember the last time I used this concealer. I am going to attempt my typical concealer application, so I'm just sort of manipulating it around, but I'm not going to blend out all of the way. See, now it looks really bright. I have tried this before. I'm going to let it sit and kind of dry down on the skin a little bit. And then I like to spray a setting spray, the Charlotte Tilbury, and then I'll finish blending it out. What I really like about the Chanel concealer is that it doesn't crease. I might get a little creasing just in the very fine lines right beneath my eye, which is inevitable. Unfortunately, I have little lines there, so concealer is going to crease, but I just sort of tap them out, and then as soon as I apply powder, it's fine. Something that I don't necessarily love about it, I think the reason why, even though I like it, it's never really my top drawer concealer, is that even though this is the newer or the newest formula, which is a bit creamier, the dry down is more of a natural, somewhat powdery dry down. It looks very smooth, but it's not as creamy, and I don't know if emollient is the right word, but it just doesn't have that creamy glide and slip that other concealers have. It actually reminds me a lot of the new Guerlain Terracotta Concealer. It can lift, not blend as well, and look sort of patchy, so you just have to be a little bit careful. I think it's more about the products you pair it with than anything else. As long as you treat it like it's going to dry down a bit drier, you should be fine. I already know the bronzer and blush is going to be what brings this look together, but first I'm going in with a little bit of my Natural Finish loose powder from Chanel. Just a little bit. Just got a back in stock notification from Sephora that the new pressed hourglass powder is back. I wanted to pick it up originally during the savings event, but they sold out. And I took it as a sign that it wasn't meant to be, but then I thought about it and I looked at the shade. I really want the translucent light. I have so many loose powders that I love, but not as many pressed powders. So I kind of think I want to pick it up. I have over 500 points, so I have a little $10 credit that I can use, which you can never combine those with the savings event discount anyway, so I'm basically going to save 20% off anyhow. That's my justification. But I do kind of need a good pressed powder at the moment. That's my other justification. See how easy it is? After that, I'm done shopping for a while. This latest Chanel beauty haul broke the bank. I don't think I've seen anything else all that interesting anyhow. I don't know. I'm waiting to see if other brands are going to come out with new summer makeup. Have you seen anything that looks good? I really haven't been tempted by anything new. So let's compare the blushes. I am so excited about this one. This is the Rose Gold. I think this one is my favorite of the two. Maybe it's unfair to say that because I haven't tried it yet, but I just really like the look of this blush. It reminds me a bit of NARS Orgasm, actually, just because it does have a little bit of a gold sheen to it. Okay, ooh, I'm excited. This is the Rose Gold on the right side. Ooh. That's really pretty. So it is more of a raspberry pink. It looks cooler in the pan than the coral, but if you just look at it by itself, you think, oh, maybe that's kind of warm. But maybe it looks like it's pulling warm because it's next to the bronzer. I'm not sure. It's definitely cool, the coolest out of all of the options. And you can tell on the cheek, I feel like this looks very pink, very rosy. Building it up a little bit just so you can see the color. And you can see a little bit of that gold sheen as well. It's really nice. I'm going to flip the brush and we are now going into the medium coral. There's also a light coral if this looks maybe a little bit too dark. I love a peachy coral blush. Because I love peaches and coral colors, I've built up such a huge collection of them. I feel like I need to steer clear of colors like this from now on, at least until I go through some of my blushes. It's very pretty. You can tell there's a difference. It's much warmer. I would be curious to see what these look like against the Les Beiges Healthy Glow Winter blushes that I picked up. I love that formula. I feel like they're probably similar. This coral looks very comparable to the Coral Les Beiges blush. And again, you can see when you look really closely, just a very light gold sheen. Not shimmer, not luminosity the way the new Rare Beauty blushes have glow to them, but it just looks like healthy skin. These are both medium palettes. I'm pretty sure the bronzer is exactly the same. If there is a difference, it's minimal. You really wouldn't be able to see it on the face. So I'm just gonna use one of the bronzers. And then this highlighter looks like it's going to be too dark for me. I could use it as an eyeshadow, I can use it on the body, but this would probably be too dark on the tops of the cheeks, so I'm gonna go in with the other highlighter. Really pretty. Blends really nicely. The luminous Les Beiges powders are always really nice. It's easy to pick it up with the brush. It blends really nicely on the skin. It looks pretty light and natural. I'm a fan. I do think if you wanted to, you could go in with a big brush, just swirl it around the entire pan and buff that all over your face and just do one powder application and that's it. And it would probably look really pretty. That would truly give you just a sun-kissed look instead of doing bronzer here, blush here, highlighter here, deep, deep, deep. Maybe that's what I'll try next. Les Beiges for summer and holiday are always my two favorite collection launches from Chanel every single year. Even though it's a bit smaller this year, it's basically just this, I'm still really happy with these compacts. I think the products that they launch are always so perfect for natural sun-kissed skin type of makeup, which is some of my favorite makeup to wear. It's almost always something that I know I'm going to get use out of. I think that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. Now that blush and bronzer are both done, which side do you prefer? It's not as noticeable to see the difference now. I think I like them both. I don't think anybody needs to pick up multiple compacts. They're $95 each. I think you just go with whichever one is your favorite. Do I think it is a must-have essential product for summer? Not really, only because they have something close to all three of these individually. You might have a huge collection of products like this. You have to ask yourself, with your collection, with your makeup preferences, with all of the other products that you have, is this something that you're going to be excited to pull out of the drawer on a regular basis? If the answer is yes, then definitely go for it. If the answer is, I'm not sure, then I would say skip it. Now to finish the eyes, I'm going back into my Blanc Pearl, and I'm just gonna emphasize that iridescent pink pop right in the inner eye area, and I'm going to kind of wrap it down to the tear duct. This is going to be our inner eye highlight. Oh, it's so pretty. I wasn't sure if it was going to be bright enough to be an inner corner highlight, but it is definitely bright enough. And if you already own the opal highlighter from Chanel, you could probably use that instead. But I love it. I wonder if this would actually work as a highlighter on the cheek. It probably would. With my finger, I'm just touching up a little pop right in the center of the lid with the seafoam, just to give it a little extra life. Using that same BK Beauty brush, I'm picking up a little bit of the bronzer and I'm going to buff this beneath the lower lash line. This is going to tie in the darker brown from the outer V. I quickly filled in my eyebrows and now I'm going into the waterline with this Brune Platine number 76 eyeliner. I know this is supposed to be a full face of Chanel and I did actually find an old brown liquid eyeliner, but I'm afraid to mess up this look. So I'm just gonna go in with my Too Faced. I'm not lining the entire upper lash line. I'm starting sort of at the center and I'm connecting out to a very small wing. This is the lip combo I pulled out. I think with these eyes, I should stick with something a little bit more nude. I pulled out sort of a peachy pinky nude. I really wasn't sure what was going to happen with the eyes. We can try it. First, I'm going to line my lips with this nude lip liner from Makeup Forever, and we'll see what happens. This is pretty nude, so I think I'm going to fill in my lips a little bit with this. This is the Rouge Cocoa Balm in 928 Pink Delight. Just a nice pink. It's basically a pink lip balm. I actually think this looks good. Yeah, that works. I always need a little gloss, so I'm gonna top that off with just a little bit of this lip gloss. This is 728, I think it's called Rose Pulp, but it's shade 728. I don't know if it's the best lip for the eye, but I do really like it. Not a natural daytime look. I feel like I should be going to a rave. I'm not sure how I feel actually about the pink and green together. I do think it looks cool with maybe a very neutral outfit. Like I would be wearing tan, white, or black, and that's it. Because there's a bit of color to the eyes. No, I kind of like the makeup look. I think the only thing that's throwing me, and maybe I'll change my mind when I watch this video back, but I feel like my face looks very pale, and I don't think it's the lighting. Let me try to change something. I think this is too dark. I don't think that helps. Next time we play around with these, I'm going to stick with a neutral eye. I'm going to try my Brune Talpa shimmering eyeshadow on the lid and do just a neutral eye look instead of the pop of green and pink. But hopefully now you have an idea of what these summer Les Beiges products will look like. And that completes this full face of Chanel. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you liked seeing these products in action. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this Les Beiges collection. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Hey, on my way to Pilates. This is what the makeup looks like in real natural sunlight. Are you ready? This is it. The green, the pink,